Today we're looking at the top 10 starting fives in the NBA going into the 2023 and 24 season. Of course, the NBA got shaken up this offseason, so we don't know exactly how some of these lineups are going to fit together yet, but we can base it off of the amount of talent on the team and how well we think everyone will fit together. So a little bit of facts and a little bit of predictions. Let's start first with some honorable mentions though, because 3 teams with notable starting lineups didn't make the top 10, and that would be the Timberwolves, Pelicans, and the Cavs. The Timberwolves have a lot of talent on paper, but the double big man lineup isn't great, and Mike Conley's not the right guy for them at point guard. They had potential, but they needed some improvements if they wanted to make the top 10. I really like the Pelicans starting 5, but they still have no real point guard. And the lineup looks great with Zion in it, but since he almost never is, of course this lineup couldn't have ranked any higher. Then as for the Cavs 5, well again on paper it looks great, but come playoff time it went terribly. And sure, the addition of Strus was solid, but not good enough to make that big of a difference overall. But okay, now let's get into the actual top 10 in the league. And number 10 goes to the Miami Heat. I'll be honest, the lineup of Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo isn't all that great. But this team made the NBA Finals last year, so I had to at least include them somehow. This is the starting 5 they used most often during the regular season last year, which also doesn't mean much because they were an 8th seed with this lineup. The real reason they made the Finals was because of their playoff 5, made up of Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, and Bam. But 2 of those guys are gone, and this just isn't the same team anymore, and it's gonna show next year. Now if they can make a Damian Lillard trade work, things will be a lot different and we're having an entire other conversation. But for now, our 37-year-old Kyle Lowry will start for them, and Jimmy will probably be playing power forward, so those don't do them any favors. Listen, all I'm saying is you can't count out the Heat after what they did last year, so they definitely deserve the top 10, but again, this also isn't nearly the same team it was last year. Now at the number 9 spot, I had to give it to the Sacramento Kings for a lineup of De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, and Domantas Sabonis. I just really love these 5 guys together, and they have everything here: offense, defense, shooting, and they're able to play fast and run up and down the floor. Plus the star power of both Fox and Sabonis is exactly what they need to carry them. And when you can have that prime veteran leadership, but also have an up-and-comer like Keegan Murray who can play like he does, is when the magic happens. I still think these guys need to take another step though to be considered a real championship contender, and for that reason, and the fact that most of their success came from having an entire roster of 10 to 12 guys in their system, was what really made their team work, is why they don't rank slightly higher. At the 8th spot, we have the Philadelphia 76ers for Tyrese Maxey, James Harden for now, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, and Joel Embiid. Harden hasn't been traded, and it doesn't look like he's gonna be anytime soon, so I'd keep him in this 5 whether he plays or not. And just for talent alone, they had to rank here. They got a lot of great players here, and with Joel Embiid being the reigning MVP, it's a shame they don't rank any higher. But we just know these guys don't fully mesh all that well together, and Philly's season usually always ends up in a disappointment. Of course, Harden's the weak point now due to a situation, and Tobias Harris is the other one because he always has been. I'm just more ready than anything for the 76ers to blow this team up, because the MVP shouldn't be playing on the 8th best starting lineup in the league. But one spot ahead of them at number 7 is the Los Angeles Clippers for their 5 of Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, and Ivica Zubac. Of course, this team's injury prone, and it's why we didn't even get to see this lineup play a single game together all last year. So we've never seen this lineup from the Clippers. But you know, just assuming they were all healthy, I think it's where I'd rank them. Honestly, I've always hated the fact that they had a front court of Nick Batum and Zubac. I just don't like the fact that they play small with a below average big man. Then them having 2 wings that play the same position is weird, and them adding Westbrook to the mix made it even weirder. I just don't like how this team's made up. But even then, I think it's safe to say that the talent here and their potential is still at an extremely high level. And with PG and Kawhi, there's always a chance that they're contenders if they can stay healthy. With number 6, I think it has to go to the Golden State Warriors for having Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green. Sure, the Warriors are getting older, but they're still at the top of their game. They only lost in the second round last year because they had 2 big men that couldn't shoot. It cost them that entire Lakers series, and I'm shocked that they're going to go into this season without having fixed that problem. But at least in this potential version of their starting lineup, it is fixed. Because with Wiggins at the 4, he's undersized, but he can shoot, and he's quick, which is going to give them a real similar feeling to the Warriors' old death lineup. I have no concerns about CP3 and Steph sharing a backcourt either, because Chris played seamlessly with James Harden, and Steph's a shooter and he can play any style you ask him to. The defense though, that's where things are gonna get rough. These guys could play with speed, but there's still some serious holes here. I think I'd still prefer this 5 with 2 point guards in the backcourt though, over the one with Looney and Draymond in the front court. Then at 5, of course, it's the 5 that beat the Warriors with D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, and Anthony Davis. This lineup would be so much better if they start Gabe Vincent, but everything I'm seeing is that they're gonna start Russell at least for now. now. I think as the year goes on, Gabe will win the spot, but we'll wait and see. And I really just love how this team's put together. LeBron James is at the center of it, with Hachimura being the elite go-to defender, then having Anthony Davis down low to protect the rim from any big man in the league, while there's two guards in the backcourt who can both create their own shot and shoot from three. The Lakers once again revamped their bench too this offseason, so it'll still be interesting to see how far they can really be taken with this starting five leading the way. If everyone stays healthy, it's going to be hard to bet against the LA Lakers. Things are starting to get competitive too, because at 4 we have the Milwaukee Bucks with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Grayson Allen, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. The last time we saw all these guys play together, they won an NBA championship. But Chris was hurt all of last year and they missed him big time. Even just their big three alone is easily one of the top 2 or 3 in the league. I mean, the only weak point in the entire starting 5 is Grayson Allen, but at the same time, he is a nice complement to what they have going. I mean, the combination of offense and defense here is some of the best in the league. The Bucks are at full strength again going into this new year, and they should only be better, so the rest of the league definitely should be a little worried and keeping an eye on the Milwaukee Bucks. At the 3rd spot, I have the Boston Celtics for their 5 of Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford. No confirmation on if this will be their actual starting 5, but I could see it happening. I could also see Robert Williams being the one to play next to Kristaps, but we'll see, because I mean, he's always an injury liability, and that's what could really hold these guys back, because Porzingis really transforms this team, but he's also a major injury liability. A healthy Boston Celtics team could easily be the best starting 5 in the league, but considering the fact that the big man already got hurt before the season even started is not a good look. I just really love the build of this team though. Derek White's really underrated, Jason's great, Jaylen's alright, then Kristaps and Horford are an elite front court. If this team executes a game plan the right way, which they will because they're the Celtics, they're definitely championship material. Oh, and I think trading away Marcus Smart could be a good thing because it should speed up their offense. Now, number 2 is complete speculation because it's the Phoenix Suns, with Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Yuta Watanabe, and DeAndre Ayton. I could see a world where Eric Gordon's in the starting 5 instead of Yuta, but I think either would be a good fit. This is just what I'm sticking with for now. I have little faith in that this team will actually mesh well in the postseason, especially with Bradley Beal at point guard, and super teams like this usually don't work out. Just look at the Brooklyn Nets a few years ago. But just simply based on their potential and the amount of talent they have, I couldn't possibly rank them any lower. Now, this video also really works in their favor because as we know, their starting lineup is loaded, while their bench maybe not so much. They put everything they had into their starting 5, so the fact that that's the main topic of this video works out great for them. I mean, if I was doing a video on complete rosters, maybe they wouldn't take number 2, but since I'm not, this is where they end up. Then of course at number 1, it should be no surprise that it's the Denver Nuggets for Jamal Murray, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic. I mean, this is really as perfect of a starting 5 as you're maybe ever gonna get in the NBA. It's why they easily won the championship this past season and potentially could have the past 2 or 3 had everyone been healthy. I mean, the playmaking ability of Jamal Murray, the 3-and-D from KCP, the pure shooting and size of MPJ, the defense and finishing ability of Aaron Gordon combined with the superstar MVP and Jokic is just perfect. There's no weaknesses in the starting lineup. Sure, they lost some depth off their bench this offseason, which is gonna hurt, but if all 5 of these guys can continue to stay healthy again, it's hard to not have them be favorites to repeat as NBA champions. But what do you think? Where would you rank the best starting 5s in the NBA? Do you agree or disagree with my list? Comment down below and let me know, and I'll catch you next video.